LEGASCI Teachers. So this is my RPMS e-folio, which I will be sharing with you so that we can all make our life easier, right? So this is e-folio. It's in PowerPoint, and I have actually downloaded this template. I have chosen this because there are already tabs. Now you may be asking, why is it that it's not in Word or in other software? Because primarily, as you can see later, I will be showing you the slideshow of this. These are all clickable links if we are going to have the tabs here. And the tabs are color coded because we have 5 CRAs. The CRA 5 is the plus factor. And there's already, this is the cover page. This is an image form wherein if you do not want this cover page, you can easily remove this because this is in JPEG or in image. Now, what I will be sharing with you is I will be removing my name here so that you can encode your name. But yet again, if you do not want this kind of cover, you can also make this in Canva or in any other editing software. Now, first and foremost, if you are going to open this template, please make sure to already save it like this using your surname. You can easily edit this so that you can easily find it under your surname. Now, I will also be discussing here not just a template, but this will be divided into a two-part series. I will be sharing you tips on how you can have the MOV. And majority of the contents here, I have already modified so that you can easily just insert images. Again, what I will be sharing with you is so that you can make your life easier when it comes to the RPMS. So first tip is, please make sure to always organize your files. If possible, if you can have a folder name as RPMS School Year 2020-2021, so that it's going to be easier for you to look for the images that you are going to insert. Now, if you're going to observe, this template is actually comprised of 45 slides. But you can easily edit this, you can easily delete or duplicate the slides if you're going to insert the MOV. So I will be following what I have been practicing in my class. I will only have it in 15 minutes. I'm using a timer here. This is the first part of the series. I will be discussing with you CRA 1 and CRA 2. And the second part will be 3, 4, and 5. So I will be having 6 objectives each in these tips or tutorial on how to have an outstanding RPMS rating. So let us start. I will be starting my timer here for 15 minutes. As you can see here, I have already edited the image. There's already no name. I'm just going to move this. As you can see, this is an image. Okay, so what you're going to do here is just simply encode your name here. So let's now go to CRA 1. Now, CRA 1 is about content, knowledge, and pedagogy. This is about 12%. If I will be checking the 12% of the rating. The first objective is to apply knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching areas. And the MOV here is quite obvious. It's actually our COT rating 1 and 2. So we are in this situation, we are only asked to have 2 CO classroom observation. And if you are going to remember, the COT rating was given, the document rather, was given in PDF form. And you cannot actually insert a PDF in this PowerPoint. So what you're going to do is you will be opening that PDF in any PDF reader and have a screenshot of that. So for example, this is just a sample. So this is going to be already an image if we are going to use the snipping tool, if we are going to use a Windows laptop. Now, I have already made it so that you can already encode on the upper part, identify the particular MOV. So this part is actually identifying the MOV. So the queue and the rater will easily identify what is your MOV. So for example, this is your image of your COT. No need to delete. Do not do that. And then insert. Actually, can insert another image. But so that it's going to be easier, just right click, change picture, and from a file. Okay. So this is just a file of the previous. Okay. So just right click, change picture, then from a file, you're going to look on where you have, if it's going to be on documents or anything else. Okay. So just right click and then change the image. So that is going to be the MOV for objective 1. It's only the CO rating 1 and 2. So kindly also check if the CO rating is under observation 1 or under observation 2. And you are going to identify here on the upper part what is the MOV. So let's now go to objective 3, meaning rather objective 2. Sorry. So objective 2 is, these are all of the MOVs. I will not anymore read that because you can actually read that. But I have included here the rubrics or the performance indicator. Now, in objective 2, you are only going to have, again, 2 MOV. Okay? So the MOV is listed here. Now, just some form of a clarification because it has been asked when I attended a webinar. Can we insert or can we use the MOV of a module coming from the division office or from the region? No, because what is written here is an MOV that is written. You wrote it. You were the one who created it. So if you're going to insert the MOV coming from a division, particularly as a module or learning activity sheets coming from a division or region, you cannot use it unless, of course, you are the author of that. So just be careful with that because it's going to be invalid. So as you can see, for you to be having an outstanding, the ICT use should redefine and transform learning experiences and should be documented properly and consistently using any referencing style. So there is a sample here. Your MOV can be an activity sheet or one lesson from as an SLM. So for example, here you are going to already, actually you can remove this. You can remove this, my dear teachers, if you're already going to insert an MOV. For example, your MOV1 is going to be a video lesson. So identify here. So if you have created a video lesson and you put it in Edpuzzle, you can have a screenshot of that. But first, let me just clarify. You were the one who created it. Okay? Because that is how you redefine and transform learning experiences. You are the content creator. Now, what if you simply use a YouTube vid? It's not going to be included in this MOV. Because again, just like the module coming or the LAS coming from a certain division or coming from a region, you were not the author or the creator. The MOVs that you're going to present are simply your own creation. Okay? So what is the meaning of this? Documented properly and consistently using any referencing style. Now, if you're going to use an ICT and you have used actually a lesson, you need to insert in the DLL. For example, your MOV2 is the DLL. Okay. Of course, you're going to have the screenshot of your DLL. Make sure that your DLL should have references. For example, where did you get the YouTube vid? You should have references. The link, possibly who created it, or if you have used a particular website, you need to reference it because that is actually here. Consistently use any referencing style. So you need to mention in your DLL where did you get that. Okay? So this is going to be 2MOV. Let's now go to objective 3. Now objective 3 is about critical and creative thinking. Again, these are all the MOVs. Again, you're going to have two. And this is the performance indicator. You should have applied teaching strategies that challenge learners to their conclusion and justify their thinking. So these are just examples. So halimbawa, ang MOV1 mo is again DLL. You need to insert a DLL highlighting where in that part nagkaroon ng critical and creative thinking. Saan dong part nagkaroon ng drawing conclusion. So that, na-identify dito kung alin dito yung they are putting it together. You can also use the DLL when you were having the classroom observation. You can actually use that. So, for example, your MOV1 is DLL and your MOV2 is an activity. So please do not forget, in this particular objective, you need to identify, you need to highlight. You can have boxes highlighting the drawing conclusion or developing critical and creative thinking. Okay. So you may be asking, what will happen if the slide is quite lacking? You can just duplicate it. Okay. So what? Then you can delete it, then insert. Insert whatever will be the MOV. So let's now go to CRA2, diversity of learners and assessment. We have 5 minutes more. So 4 is, again, if you're going to observe, MOVs are quite the same. Activity sheets, one lesson, so on and so forth. So again, this is going to be 2 MOV. MOV1, identify it. Now, what is our performance indicator? You should have, for you to have an outstanding rating, you should have utilized effective teaching strategies that are appropriate in responding to learners' linguistics, so on and so forth, in an individual level. So, papakita nyo dito sa MOV1 ninyo. Halimbawa, DLL, again, i-highlight kung saan nagkaroon ng individual level of responding to learners, cultural, etc., and activity sheets. Okay? Yan. Now, this objective, for me, this is one of the objectives that I find it quite difficult to have an MOV, to be honest, because for you to have an outstanding, you need to have a proof that you are catering to the individual's background in the individual level. Kasi mostly ang mga activities natin to cater with this kind of teaching strategies under group. But there are ways. Okay? So this is objective 4. Let's now go to objective 5. Now, objective 5 is quite easy because again, this is the CO rating. So, tatandaan po natin yung Objective 1, CO rating 1 and 2, Objective 5, CO rating 1 and 2. So, again, Objective 6, the last objective in this first part of the WID series. Now, the sixth objective is use strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback. These are the MOVs. Again, you are going to have two MOVs. So, for example, here, MOV1, example lang is your performance task, just like the example given here, with teachers' feedback. For you to have an easier way of having feedback, you can have a performance task done by group. And then, we are going to show that in the MOV that we have a feedback for each group. Because if you're going to see under outstanding, under quality, by the way, this is one of the objectives. Actually, this is only the objective with timeliness. Under quality, you should have provided learners with accurate, specific, and directed constructive feedback. So, for example, if you have a performance task as your MOV1, for you to have a feedback, you can have it by group. Okay, so that's going to be easier for you. Your MOV2 can also be a test, but you are also going to show there your feedback. Unless, of course, you are checking it individually, you can also use that. Now, under timeliness, the MOV submitted shows feedback given within 5 working days from submission. So, how are you going to prove that within 5 working days you were able to return whatever will be the MOV? Okay, now let me have this sample here that I have taken from my Google Classroom. Now here, this is a screenshot of one classroom assignment and it's under classwork tab. Now if you're going to see here, there is the deadline. The deadline is due on June 30. Now there's another screenshot here. Let me just make it a little bit more bigger. Now there's a screenshot here, the date that I have assigned it, which was June 23. Okay? The deadline was June 30. Okay. So, dapat maipakita ko that within 5 working days, na-return ko na yung ISN. That's my sample. Now, kung titignan ninyo, dito sa pinakataas, I was able to return it within the day. Bakit ko po nasabing within the day? Hindi na ako naghintay ng 5 working days to return it. Kasi ang due ko is June 30. Mismo sa date ng June 30, I was able to return it. So, ipapakita ninyo, you can have a series of screenshots. Papakita ninyo that you're able to submit within 5 working days for you to have an outstanding rating. Okay? So, that's it. This is our final first part of the series. Let me just show you on how this is going to be presented to the rater. If you are going to present it to your rater, how are you going to do it? Well, you can have it in slideshow. So, for example, let us have it in slideshow here. If you are going to see, for example, if you want to go to objective 3, just click the objective 3, and it's going to be, you are going to be directed to the objective 3. If you want to go back to CRA 1, then it's going to be CRA 1. Now, if you want to navigate to the other, if you're going to see, let us have this CRA 3. The CRA 3 is not really here because the problem is if you are going to add slide, the hyperlink gets mixed up under CRA 3. So, just click the objective. So, yung objective, tama siya. So, just click on the objective na lang because that's the disadvantage if we are going to add or duplicate slides. Okay? So, let us have CRA 5. Yeah. So, going back to CRA 1, just click. And if you want to go back to your cover page, just have the upward or up button. Now, if you are going to have, Let us have let's open it. Okay. For confidentiality, you can set a password here under file password. Okay. Then you can have some form of a password so that you and the rater will only be the one to open this presentation. Okay, so that's it.